Okay. Whew. Update. I don't even know what my last update was. Let's check that out. I probably should have already done this, but whatever. So I've been sick for. Let's find out when I got sick. I was sick before this, so it's been a month. Yeah, over a month now. A month and a week. I got a cough. It got worse. It got worse. And then I got fatigue, occasional other issues, getting nausea, but that could just be the extreme fatigue. Soreness. Yeah, so I've been sick for a month, and last night was probably the first night in over a month. Yeah, it looks like uh, I did do an update at the end of August. Hmm. Yeah, August was rough for me. I was when I quit smoking, so not sure if I've already covered this because I haven't watched my logs back. But well, quick chronology of events. So the end of July, I started to peak at how rapidly. So I was doing an increase and asymptotal total, an asymptotal increase in how much new work I was adding each day. Each time being slightly more than last time, trying to find that just noticeable difference. And I was definitely too much because I failed at a certain point. So clearly, you can only go up at a certain rate, and I'd say this is my increase. I gotta do this backwards, don't I? Because what the year is it? I didn't know that. Yeah, so well, of course, I was really slowly increasing, only 30 seconds every other day, and then at 5 minutes, it was every day, and then I was getting to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I did take a note and I did an analysis of that and tried to get back on. It was the end of July. The end of, so the end of July is when I failed and I quit. I fell off of my routine, and it was because I was adding too much at once. Instead of adding, I was adding 10 minutes, 30 seconds, and then the next time 11 minutes. And then in 2 days from there, so I was averaging 30 seconds more per day, or 15 seconds more per day, which was fine at the start when I was only doing say 5 minutes, but when I was at 20 minutes, 20 plus 5, 20 minutes plus 5 minutes instead of 20 minutes plus 30 seconds, because that's sort of ramping up. So yeah, I hit that asymptote and I was going up, and then I was accelerating too much. The human body can only go so fast. So probably the rate of increase starts here at 30 seconds. 30, it's goes to, well, add 1 minute linear. I guess is how I started it. 1 minute, whatever. Really, I could be going slow to start, really slow to start, speed it up, and then slow it down again. So I was going 30 seconds, and I was adding 30 seconds twice after 2 weeks. So I was doing it, speeding it up. I was splitting up the tasks. So 5 minutes, 5:30, 10. I would split it to two 5 minute tasks, and adding 30 seconds each. So I was doubling. So it was increasing it relatively quickly. And I should have been slowing down at a certain point because I was getting exhausted. I exhausted myself and I got tired. So what happened at the end of August? And then I'm not sure when the overtime started. I quit smoking. Also, so that happened. I did my analysis. I tried to get back on board, but that was also at a time when I was decided to take it serious and quit smoking. I'm not sure, because I've been smoking for quite a bit at that point. So I fell off the boat. I quit smoking. Oh man, I feel like there was a while there where I wasn't even on the boat. I was just completely off. So it could have been September even that I quit smoking. September is when I did a lot of overtime, and that's what really knocked me out because I coped with the overtime and the lack of fatigue with by drinking. And the stress, of course, the overtime was putting on my system. And of course, lack of sleep, drinking, everything. So I did that. I'm not sure the chronology because I wasn't taking notes. I want to say I quit smoking before that, so I fell off the boat. I was smoking more and more. No, I remember I was smoking like every day in the morning. So I fell off the boat. I tried to get back on. I failed again, and then I just decided to focus on getting off smoking. So yeah, it would have been in August that I quit smoking. I want to say it was August I quit smoking. And what happened is I used the same method for quitting smoking. I slowly tapered off down to just ever so slightly less than the time before, and I tapered off and went down and down and quit smoking that way. So I used the same baby steps methodology, and I did it really rapidly. It was a week. I just decided, even though I was exhausted or I wasn't in the habit of doing it, I just decided that every morning I would roll smokes. That's all I did. So I didn't take notes. I didn't do anything like that. And then I started drinking and working overtime, and I couldn't get back onto the routine doing that. Oh, I'm so tired. You can see it in my eyes. Uh, so yeah, that's I quit smoking, and that doesn't help. That didn't help me because my system was not used to having such little amounts of nicotine. And what was happening is I'm not even sure if it's in my notes. I was planning and I was rolling and I was backstocking. So I did have a little bit of a backstock. And then I just decided to roll out a whole bunch. And I did. So I rolled out a bunch of cigars into cigarettes. And each one, so that's till I went from, it was like 5 days from smoking a full cigar. Maybe I was already down to a full smoking half cigars or whatever at that point. And then I was down to zero in a week. And I'd done that before at a slower rate. So this time every time I smoked one, I smoked a smaller one and like keep my system just below the point of discomfort as I marched down until it was out of my system. Of course, it was out of my system and I've broken my habits and routines. And I have done a few times trying to get back to working out. That's usually how I start is working out. I'm starting to realize the first thing is ordering the mind and just planning ahead and opening the book. So if we want to get forward, move forward, I need to, instead of focusing on the habit of working out every day, because that's a very conscious thing that has to be remembered. I only remember that I have to do my list and I have these tasks. Then that's the thing I have to consciously remember, externalize the need to remember it into a habit, and just build a habit of remembering that, right? Remembering all of the tasks I need to have them written down and do, and just remember that I need to do what I have written down and use my notes. And usually I do it the other way around. I start working out, and then the second thing I do is start doing notes. So yeah, August I quit smoking, and I fell off the wagon the end of July. There, I picked it up a little bit here at the start of August. It was like it fell off, and I got back on right immediately, and I tried to jump it up real quick. So I tried to reclaim that time. So I wasn't increasing it slowly the second time. I was just increasing everything I was doing quickly, and that resulted in a failure. And that failure is the one that took. After that, I quit smoking, and I just rolled. I didn't take notes or plan or keep track of it externally. I just did it all in my head, and I worked out. And those are the only two things I've kind of working out. I kind of kept off and on, failing here and there. It was mostly doing it 3 or 4 days, but losing sleep, getting exhausted, overworking. That's what really took me out. That over time took me out, and I did not recover in October. Of course, you have to have 7 solid days straight of good sleep to establish to get your system used to doing it every night. You have to get into that routine for sleep. And this, like I said I've had 3 good sleeps, but they haven't been consistent for time. So I'm still not on a routine. But I've caught up a little. Not caught up. I just feel I have energy today a little bit. Besides the extreme physical fatigue. Holy crap! My boss has been sending me home all month, except for this last week where I was kind of just I wasn't coughing. So let's keep the chronology going because this is just for my own usage mostly. So yeah, I drank too much, worked too much, and just I guess that's the first thing I usually do. It's not working out; it's getting to sleep on time. I try working out, and that's what gets me into the mindset of taking care of other things. And I add sleep, and then I focus on getting enough sleep. When I get enough sleep, then I'm usually a lot more focused, and especially if I get that consistent sleep, same time every night, or at least minor changes every night, 5 to 10 minutes. That's when I do really well. And I don't remember it. I've got old habits. My old habits are to just work out. I've got a good habit of like wanting to improve, and I start with working out. It's like physical health is important. Sleep, that's one I have, and then after that I add cleaning. My habit with cleaning is like when I have energy, then I clean a whole bunch, and I've been doing that this last month. I've been trying to stay active and cleaning up my room and getting a little caught up on that. I actually feel pretty good about that. I think that was probably the start of getting back to normal habits after the extreme failure. This is gonna be a longer than normal stream. I was just motivated this morning. So yeah, that was the start was when I started cleaning because when I was working overtime and baking, I was just outside of work, I burnt everything at work. I had nothing. So I started cleaning again, and then I got sick. And I got really sick, and that just took everything out of me, the cough, and I've just been falling into old habits, and that includes the habit. Like my body's adjusted and it's prioritized, and it knows the habit of working out makes me feel better than the habit of just burning time on the internet. It feels good to complete something like finishing a book, catching back up, but it doesn't feel as good as working out. There's less of a satisfaction, and that long-term satisfaction makes a big difference. So I did all. Still pretty exhausted. So then I got sick. I started missing work, getting sent home from work, and I started with a cough, and then the fatigue is still there. So I think I was kind of sick before, but it just deteriorated I got sick with something else. Now I've just been pushing it a lot, trying to go to work. The cough left. I went back to work and I had no cough at all. And then I worked for a couple of days, and then I had this big cough again. So it's like that infection's. Every time I almost get recovered from that, I go to work and just weaken my system a little bit because I'm not clear of the fatigue and soreness part of the infection. I'm taking ibuprofen a lot. Ran out of Buckley's. That was a big one. Running out of Buckley's, forgetting to use it, you get a cough every time. I just was constantly on it before. So, yeah, that catches me up. I fell off the boat. I've been trying to get back on, trying to work out. I actually was there. October. I must have been up there to months in a row working out and then just not taking notes. Actually, I did take a note somewhere. I added like one day. I remember to take a note. And yeah, this weekend I started getting insomnia. And that sucks. Inability to sleep. The last 3 nights I've had a hard time falling asleep, but I've slept really well. Maybe not. Last 2 nights I slept well, but I had a bad sleep before that, and the night before that I slept really well. So last night I had a great sleep. Like I said, this is the first time I woke up and I felt fully rested in a very long time. In a month. Yeah, it's like I wasn't sleeping right in October after the binge drinking in September, but I was getting enough sleep, just not consistent sleep. So I'm getting, and I finally feel, yeah. So last night I woke up kind of, and I think this is what did it. I saw a video, and my SIM card reader isn't able to transfer the data, so I can't put video on my computer, and I have projects I'm doing for other channels. But it's really pain if all of a sudden I can't read the SIM card and put the data on my computer. Well, I saw a video and in it, I think this might be part of the reason it activated the habit circuitry of, oh yeah, get back to that routine shit. That feels pretty good, right? It feels really good to have a little bit of control over yourself, like on top peak. So I saw that they changed Android so that it's not default that you can plug it in and have access to your data through the USB. And I saw how you can turn on developer mode, and it's like reactivating that feature that I had on my first phone. So I was really frustrated when I couldn't do it on later models, but you have to get the Easter egg. And I've even searched how to do it and not found it. It's just like I've stumbled onto developer mode and I saw in the settings, oh, allow data transfer through USB. I was like, I've searched pretty much exactly that. On Google doesn't work anymore, of course. So, oh, I'm so tired. So friggin' tired. Yeah, so that kind of got me thinking, I think, a little bit about this habit. I touched on that circuit and I've been kind of cleaning up and lifting up the notebooks. And this last night I went through, so that happened, and I dreamed a lot. I think during that processing, it kind of just like, that's when it touched on that circuit. It linked that I was trying to do that, and I wanted data transfer. I can do that through my phone, and that brought up the memory of the habits from the good routine. So I went through slept really well last night, and then I woke up and I went through my log, I went through notes, and I was dreamt about past events, and it was basically like the start of when I started taking notes, and it was just like I started just writing down time, thing, everything I was doing. In fact, I forgot to do that. That's like the first thing I was doing. So the evolution of my notes, how it evolved into a list, and that's how it evolved from before I was trying to do habit stuff just by memory. And that's how it evolved into doing just taking notes. I was taking notes before in different formats. I was notes for specific projects, but not just notes about what I'm doing. So shower. Brush teeth, get dressed, log, stream. It's not 12:26, 2, 2, 6. What's happened there? Arrow indicates that I'm still log streaming in these two time slots. So yeah, I decided. Actually, that was 12:26, like 12:05 then, because of the time. So yeah, I went through. I saw the evolution of it, and it kind of got me thinking. I was like, yeah, and I thought about the way things happen, and just my notes. It was going through personal stuff. It's like, started taking the notes to verify my memory when somebody was trying. I knew I was right, and it was just like to have it, the physical copy. It's like it's here, and it was partly because I knew he was spying on me and going through my shit, watch my stuff online. I'd watch him because I was just in the same house. Yeah, so I started logging, and it turned into a list, and then it was like plan things and what actually happened. And that became just my plan list to write down the time in the morning instead of trying to log everything throughout the day. It was just logging the exact time I did the things in the morning, and then of course that evolved into when I picked that back up. The only thing I didn't pick up the logging everything I was doing. I just picked up the list part in the morning. But that was the spring when I got the most productive I've ever been on my own, like outside of work while working too. That was looking at how much I was doing. It was like it didn't feel like much at the time. I knew at the time it was because I managed to slowly build it up so it felt normal. I wanted to do more and ambition. And it was like that drive, a little bit of success. And I can get some more. I can do better. Yeah, let's do some more. I'm gonna get this on. Get now, like yeah, that was pretty great. I'm glad I built this habit and I activated the circuit a little bit. And I know I'm burning a lot this morning. This isn't regular habit stuff. This is the build up, right? I have this circuit and desire to put it out. I need to reserve some for later. Instead of trying to do it all at once. When I could burn out all my energy cleaning my old habits, like when I get everything else just kind of balanced, and then I have the energy and motivation to look around and I want to clean it all, get it all done, and I burn out, and I end up burning out and taking time to recover from the overworking myself through this strain, and then to recover. It's like you want to stress yourself, but you don't want to strain yourself because if you strain yourself, you have to heal before you can stress your system again. So I want to, right now, I think it's the same habit of I have the energy and time. It's on my mind, and I want to keep streaming, talking, get it out, have a log, and do it. It's like, oh, it feels great to get shit done. And it feels good to know that I have the habits built up, and my method isn't perfect, but I'm learning. And definitely need to, once I've got it wrapped up again, this time I need to start tapering it off. It's better to err on the side of caution than to fail. Failures, you have to pick up from the beginning. Essentially, I have here. I tried. I actually did pretty good. So there definitely was some level of catch up I could do because I already had the habit, and I just failed for like a week. So there's definitely some level of habit building success you can have without to catch up if you already have it. But once you drop back into old habits, they're just not productive too. And that's I'm gonna get mad at myself when I watch this because I'm rambling a little bit. So I wanted to just talk about what's happened up to now. So yeah, I did that. Dropped off, tried to catch back up, failed again, partly because I also and then I quit smoking. Smoking made it hard. Then I had a lot of overtime, and with that I coped with drinking. Did pick that up. Then I was starting to recover, and I fell into the old habit of instead of jumping back into the same routine I built up, it was an old habit of old routine, working out by mind rather than having a written note somewhere to follow. Plan. Instead of having a written plan, having a mental plan, having it be susceptible to forgetting and distraction and everything else that goes on with mental plans. So, all at once, I got sick, and here I had a really good sleep. I went through it all, looked at it, and read a whole bunch of things that happened. Just thought about the evolution of how my notes evolved from it. Just taking notes, so I can kind of incorporate from that a little bit for the future here. And then I thought, I caught up. I went, okay, yeah, let's get back on this shit. Get to sleep, and we'll focus on planning and taking notes. The way it started. instead of making a list and completing it, we'll just start by chronographing it because I'm just looking at the notes is useful. It's useful to have that data to kind of understand. So I'm gonna add a couple things. I'm gonna maybe rank right now. We'll say I'm fatigue. Put my fatigue at an 8 out of 10. Rest, sleep. I was well rested. Let's say 8 out of 10 because like I feel rested, but I don't feel as rested as if I've gotten that amount of sleep and consistency. Hunger, probably not starving, and I know what starving is. Let's say a 4 out of 10. I mean, you need to eat soon. And the fatigue is just illness, so I can't really do much about that. So I'll write that note. Illness. So I got to take my vitamins. Oh, that's one of the things I've kept up. I did not fall off on taking vitamins every day. It's getting late in the day, so probably too late for me too. That'll keep me up later. Reading the Bible every day. I don't think I've failed. I have like dropped right down to how much I read of it. So, yeah. Yeah, and just after reading it all and thinking about it a little bit, and being well rested, I just wanted to felt a need to update and have this point because it's nice to have the data. It is nice to go back to the log and I don't go through the video log, so maybe I should start adding it to my regular viewing content rather than just doing it as a chore in the morning. But, yeah, I got back up. So the important points to note. One of the important things, instead of a list, the more important thing is just collect the data. Just going back and looking at it and thinking about it naturally to start to add plans. Yeah, I need to do that. Just take notes. I've never had the habit properly of purely taking notes. Oh, I did a little bit. I did really well in the spring. Oh, jeez, I'm so exhausted. Feel it now that I'm awake and this stream's half an hour. Half an hour sitting and talking. Like I do that on Discord. That's one of the things I've been doing a lot. Discord. I've been dealing with people on Discord. I made some good friends. I want to talk to somebody. I mean, I can kind of keep things ordered in my head, like capitalistic opportunism. When I catch a moment where I think about it and I have that energy, rather than trying to plan it ahead and burn energy at a certain time in a way that I get used to it. Oh, overwork now. I need my vitamins. I've definitely gotten used to that. That's my routine. So, yeah. The important thing was habit building. Slow steps. Don't overdo it. Save some for later. Save some if you're feeling like you can keep going and you think remember that. If you're not timing it and slowly building up by a strict regimen, then yeah, just sleep. Yeah, okay. Goes for myself. It's all for myself. Yeah, just go home, sleep, and keep track. We'll build back up. Yeah, I'm gonna come back and look at something. Okay, good. So takeaways fell off, so it's really when I go back over this, I really need to. I know I'm rambling. I'm going to get really frustrated with myself at this point. The really important thing will be to not overdo it. Wrap it up. Be very, very careful of how fast you're ramping it up. Yeah, I fell right off. Okay, 30 minutes. Let's call that there. It can't be much worse.